Welcome to your deep dive. Today, we're going to be looking at
So fun.
The Magic of Thinking Big by
Yeah.
David J. Schwartz. We've
Right.
got some excerpts from the book ready to go, and we are going to be extracting some of the most potent and actionable advice that we can on how to think big.
I like it.
And this thinking big mindset is really all about how to achieve more in every single aspect of your life.
Right.
So are you ready to kind of unlock the power of your own mind?
Oh, absolutely. You know, I think what's so interesting about this book is how relevant it is,
Yeah.
even decades after it was published.
Right.
These principles are just timeless.
Yeah.
They're universal.
He starts out with this great concept. It's believe you can succeed and you will.
Yeah.
And he basically says belief is like a thermostat
Okay.
that sets the temperature for what we achieve.
I like that.
So if you think small, you get small results. If you think big, you unlock big potential. It almost seems like a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It really is. Think about it. If you believe you're capable of achieving great things,
Yeah.
you're naturally going to act in ways that support that belief.
Yeah.
You know, you'll take more risks, you'll persevere through challenges,
Yeah.
and ultimately you'll be more likely to hit those big goals.
Yeah. He gives this great story about a top-performing insurance salesman
Okay.
who had no real advantage over his peers. I mean, they had the same training, the same territory, they had the same resources,
Yeah.
but his belief in his ability to sell was just unshakable. And that was the differentiating factor.
It really does come down to cultivating a genuine belief in yourself.
Okay.
And it's not about blind optimism or anything.
Right?
It's about fostering that deep-seated conviction in your capabilities.
So how do we cultivate that?
Well, it's something you have to work on,
Yeah.
just like any other skill.
Okay, so how would you say someone could cultivate this unshakable belief in themselves?
Well, Schwartz suggests, starting with your thoughts. What are you feeding your mind?
Okay.
Are you dwelling on past failures? Or are you choosing to focus on your accomplishments?
Yeah.
And the evidence of what you're capable of.
So you're saying look back at your past and look at all the great things that you've done?
Exactly. And he calls this managing your memory bank.
Okay.
He says, consciously choose to deposit positive, empowering thoughts.
Yeah.
And then when you face a challenge, withdraw those same kinds of thoughts.
Oh, I like that. So it's almost like you're making a highlight reel of your life.
Yes. Instead of focusing on the bloopers.
Okay. I like that.
And he also emphasizes the importance of physical presence.
Okay.
Your posture, your handshake, a genuine smile, all of these project confidence.
Okay.
And they could even boost your own confidence too.
So it's like that fake it till you make it.
Right.
But it's not really about being inauthentic.
No, you're simply choosing to embody
Okay.
the traits that you want to cultivate.
Okay. I like that. Now let's talk about some of the challenges that we face.
Okay.
Schwartz calls it excusitis, and he calls that the failure disease.
Right.
I think we've all been there. We've all had those alibis about
Oh, absolutely.
why we can't achieve something. I'm too old. I'm not smart enough. I just don't have the luck.
I think we've all said those things at some point.
Right. Have you ever struggled with excusitis?
Oh, absolutely.
What's your go-to excuse?
Well, what Schwartz emphasizes is that excusitis is often
Okay.
a symptom of something deeper.
Okay.
Fear of failure or a lack of self-belief.
Right.
And he's right, Successful people rarely use those excuses.
Yeah.
They acknowledge challenges,
Yeah.
but they refuse to let them become roadblocks.
Right. He gives this great example of this man who was convinced he had heart trouble, even though his doctor was assuring him that he was perfectly healthy.
Oh, that's classic health excusitis.
Right.
Letting that fear and self-doubt manifest as physical symptoms.
Oh, wow. And then he talks about Phil,
Right.
who wasn't the most intelligent guy on paper, but he was 3 times more valuable because of his positive attitude and work ethic.
Phil's story is a perfect example of how our mindset can truly make or break us.
Right. And that leads perfectly into the next
Yeah.
point, which is conquering fear.
Okay.
Schwartz calls fear success enemy, #1, because it keeps us from taking action.
Right.
But what's interesting to me is that he doesn't suggest trying to eliminate fear altogether.
No, he doesn't.
Does he?
He suggests action is the antidote to fear.
Right.
Sometimes you just got to take that leap of faith.
Okay.
Even if it's terrifying.
So if you're feeling paralyzed by fear, just ask yourself, what's the smallest step I can take right now to move forward?
I love that.
Right.
Yeah.
Schwartz also dives into the power of language.
Okay.
And he believes that the words we choose shape our thoughts, which in turn shape our reality.
He's spot on about that.
Right.
You know, big thinkers are very mindful of their vocabulary.
Okay.
They use words that create positive, forward-looking images, both in their minds and in the minds of others.
Yeah.
Think about it. Instead of saying, we face a problem, they'll say, we face a challenge.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
And he talks about this concept of adding value to your thinking.
Yeah.
He's got this great anecdote about a salesman who used visualization to sell this undesirable farm. And instead of focusing on the farm as it was, he helped potential buyers see its potential.
Okay.
You know, it could be a riding stable, it could be a tree farm, it could be a place to build their dream home.
Yeah, it's all about focusing on those possibilities.
Right. And then there was this retail executive who shifted his team's thinking about customers. Instead of seeing each customer as just this single transaction, he calculated their true annual value.
Wow. What a simple but powerful shift in perspective.
Right.
Yeah.
So they changed their vocabulary from cheap customer to valuable asset.
Yeah. And I'm sure that changed their level of service, too.
Right. So think about your vocabulary. Are you using words that empower you or hold you back?
Yeah. That's such an important question for all of us to consider.
And it's not just about our words. It's about how we use our imagination.
Yes.
Schwartz says we need to break free from what he calls tradition paralysis. You know, let go of that. We've always done it this way mentality.
Yeah.
He encourages us to embrace experimentation, new experiences, and to be open to ideas that challenge conventional wisdom.
Right.
One of the anecdotes that he shares is about an entrepreneur who swears by her weekly improvement plan.
Oh, wow.
She dedicates time every week to just brainstorming and generating ideas, no matter how unconventional they might seem.
The key is to capture those ideas.
You
know, jot them down, review them regularly, and actively work on them.
Right.
It's about creating that fertile ground for creativity to flourish.
So instead of being passive consumers of information, we need to be active participants in the process of generating and refining ideas.
Exactly.
Are you making time for brainstorming and idea generation?
That's the million-dollar question.
What could you add to your routine to make that happen?
Yeah, it doesn't have to be complicated.
Right.
It could be as simple as, you know, carrying a notebook with you to capture ideas as they pop up.
Right.
Or maybe scheduling 30 minutes a week for brainstorming.
Now that brings us to one of the most potent concepts, I think, in the entire book, which is you are what you think you are. And he believes that our thoughts shape our reality.
Yeah.
So if you think you're important, you'll act in a way that makes you important, and you'll attract those opportunities and respect that come along with that belief.
It's about cultivating that I'm a first-class performer attitude. Both internally and externally.
So what does it mean to think of yourself as a first-class performer? What actions can you take today to start living and breathing that belief?
For me, it's about constantly investing in my skills. Setting high standards for myself and thinking of my work as vital.
Right.
What about you? What comes to mind for you?
I think just do my absolute best in everything I do, even the small things.
I love that.
Speaking of environments, Schwartz has a whole chapter dedicated to the idea of going first class.
Oh, interesting.
He believes our surroundings have a profound impact on our thinking.
Right.
He contrasts the weekend routines of John and Milton. John's weekends are structured, enriching, filled with what Schwartz calls psychological sunshine.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
Whereas Milton's weekends are unplanned, unfulfilling, kind of lacking direction.
Yeah.
John's out there exploring, learning. Connecting with nature, spending quality time with his family, while Milton's just stuck in a rut.
Interesting.
And the point is that our environment shapes our mindset.
Right.
So if you're surrounded by negativity, mediocrity, a lack of inspiration, your thinking will reflect that. But if you create an environment that supports growth, positivity, a sense of purpose, your thinking will be elevated.
Right.
So how do we go first class?
That's a good question.
It's not about spending lavishly or being materialistic.
It's about creating a life that reflects your highest values and aspirations.
Okay.
This could mean curating a positive social circle.
Okay.
Seeking out mentors who embody success.
Yeah.
Treating yourself to enriching experiences, and just generally making choices that elevate your thinking and well-being. So it's about investing in yourself, your growth, and designing a life you love.
Absolutely.
Now, this segues perfectly into the concept of making your attitudes your allies.
Okay.
Schwartz says attitudes are like mirrors of the mind. They broadcast how we think and feel to the world.
Yeah.
And he compares these two Red Cross fundraising campaigns.
Okay.
One was led by a speaker who was unenthusiastic and lacked energy.
Okay.
And the other was led by a speaker who was passionate and inspiring.
Right.
Which one do you think was more successful?
I'm going to guess the one with the passionate speaker.
You got it.
Yeah.
And this just highlights the power of what Schwartz calls the I'm activated attitude.
Oh, I like that.
Right?
Yeah.
It's about approaching everything with energy, with enthusiasm, and with a genuine desire to make a positive impact.
Okay.
So how do we cultivate this?
Yeah. How do we cultivate this activated attitude?
He gives us 3 steps. The first is to dig into it deeper. So if you're feeling bored or disengaged with something, learn more about it.
Right.
And that might spark a newfound interest.
Yeah.
The second is to lift up everything about you.
Yeah.
Your smile, your handshake, your communication, even your walk.
Right.
Act alive and you'll feel more alive.
Love that.
And the third is to broadcast good news.
Okay.
Spread positivity, share good experiences. No one has ever achieved anything worthwhile by dwelling on the negative.
That's a good point.
He also emphasizes the you are important attitude both within yourself and in how you treat others. So treat everyone with respect and recognize their worth.
Right.
And he gives some great practical tips.
Okay.
Practice appreciation. Let people know you value them. Make them feel important.
Right.
And he even says to call people by name.
Oh, that's a good one.
Which is so simple, but it's so powerful.
Yeah. It shows you see them as individuals.
Exactly. Give sincere compliments and praise.
Right.
It's about creating a culture of respect and appreciation, which makes a huge difference in any environment.
It does.
And he shares this example of a district manager explaining her team's exceptional results. And instead of taking all the credit for herself, she acknowledged her team, called out their individual achievements, which not only boosted morale, but also highlighted the importance of collaboration and mutual respect.
Yeah, I love that.
Okay, and then there's the service-first attitude.
Okay.
Schwartz says to put service first, and everything else will fall into place.
Okay.
And he tells a story about this gas station that was consistently busy while other gas stations nearby were empty.
Okay.
And what was their secret?
What was it?
Exceptional service.
Okay.
The attendants were friendly. They went the extra mile. And they seemed to genuinely care about creating a positive experience for their customers.
It goes to show sometimes the simplest principles are the most powerful.
And Schwartz argues that this service-first attitude goes beyond business.
Okay.
So whether you're interacting with your family, your friends, your colleagues, focus on giving more you expect to receive. Go above and beyond. Offer a helping hand.
Yeah. It's a recipe for building strong relationships.
Really.
It creates a ripple effect of positivity.
So we've covered belief, excusitis, fear, the power of language, the importance of environment and attitude. What's next on our deep dive?
Well, we've talked about the importance of a service mindset, but there's another piece of the puzzle that's essential for success.
Okay.
And that's thinking right toward other people.
Let's dive into that.
One of the most interesting things that Schwartz points out is that, likability often trumps technical skills.
Okay.
When it comes to getting promotions and new job opportunities.
It's almost like people skills are a secret weapon.
They really are.
Yeah.
Think about it.
Yeah.
Would you rather work with someone who's positive and supportive and easy to get along with?
Yeah.
Even if their technical skills are a little rough around the edges?
Absolutely.
Or would you rather work with someone who's maybe brilliant, but really difficult?
Right.
So how do we cultivate those strong?
Yeah, how do we become more likable?
Yeah, that's the question.
How do we build those strong, genuine relationships?
Well, Schwartz suggests taking the initiative.
Okay.
Introduce yourself to new people.
Okay.
Make an effort to remember their names.
Yeah.
Follow up with contacts.
Okay.
These might seem like small things, but they can make a big difference.
He also says, don't try to buy friendship.
Right.
If you're giving gifts, it should be heartfelt.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be manipulative.
It's about building those authentic connections.
Right.
Not transactional ones.
It's about shifting the focus from me to we, which makes a lot of sense in a work environment.
Absolutely.
He also cautions against letting other people's opinions, prejudice, our thinking about someone.
Yeah.
So we should really form our own opinions based on our own experiences.
Exactly.
Don't let gossip or negativity cloud your judgment.
You got it.
Give people the benefit of the doubt.
Absolutely. And remember, everyone has their own unique strengths and perspectives.
Speaking of unique perspectives, he shares this anecdote about a selection committee. Where likability was actually the deciding factor in choosing a candidate.
Interesting.
Even over technical skills.
So people's skills are more valuable than we realize.
It's true.
Think about who would you rather work with?
Yeah.
Someone who's brilliant but difficult?
Right.
Or someone who's competent and a joy to be around?
It makes a big difference.
Yeah.
It really does.
Okay, let's shift gears a little bit. And talk about setbacks. So how do we turn defeat into victory? Schwartz believes that defeat is a state of mind, not a fixed reality.
Interesting.
He acknowledges that we all face setbacks in life.
We do.
But it's how we respond to them that matters most.
Yeah.
So he encourages us to see setbacks as opportunities for learning and growth. Don't get discouraged. Analyze what went wrong, extract the lesson, and move forward.
It's about taking responsibility for our actions, even when things don't go as planned.
He shares a really powerful story about a management consultant who endured years of hardship and setbacks before building a successful company. I mean, this guy lost his savings.
Wow.
He lived in his office.
Oh, my gosh.
She faced constant rejection. But he never gave up.
That's inspiring.
He saw every setback as a learning opportunity.
And he just kept refining his approach.
It
proves that resilience and perseverance are key to success.
They are. But it's also important to remember that success is rarely linear. There will be detours, roadblocks, and unexpected challenges along the way.
So that's where adaptability comes in.
Exactly.
He encourages blending persistence with experimentation. Stay with your goal, but don't be afraid to try new approaches when things aren't working.
Yeah, he gives that example of the literary consultant working with that talented writer who was getting all those rejection slips. And instead of telling him to give up writing, he encouraged him to experiment with different genres and styles.
It's not about clinging to a plan that's not working. It's about being flexible, open to feedback, and willing to adjust your strategy.
Exactly. Remember, there's a good side in every situation. Find it, focus on it, and whip discouragement.
I like that.
It's all about perspective.
And that leads us to the next critical principle. Get the action habit.
Yes.
Ideas without action are just ideas.
That's right.
Schwartz is a firm believer in the power of action. Successful people are doers, not just dreamers. They don't wait for the perfect conditions. They take action, even if it's imperfect.
Yeah, he shares that story about the man who lost the business contract. Because he was so negative about the client on the way to the meeting.
By the time he got there, his mindset was so poisoned, he completely sabotaged the deal.
It just goes to show how negativity and inaction can be self-defeating.
So how do we break out of that cycle?
How do we get into the action habit?
What are some things that we can do?
Well, Schwartz suggests two main strategies. The first is do it now. So whatever you've been putting off, that phone call, the email, whatever, just do it.
Let's get it done.
Now, the anticipation is often worse than the task itself.
And once it's done, you get that sense of accomplishment.
Exactly.
Okay, what's the second strategy?
Well, the second strategy is to embrace what he calls the mechanical way. And this is for tasks that require more mental focus and creativity. So schedule a dedicated time to work on it. Even if you don't feel particularly inspired in that moment.
So it's like showing up for your workout, even when you don't feel like it.
Exactly. Once you get started, the energy often follows.
Okay, I like that. And then you talk about JM.
Oh, yeah.
Who was determined to buy a new home.
Yeah.
Even though money was tight.
Right. He didn't wait for the perfect time.
Right. He made a plan. He cut expenses.
Yeah.
He asked for a raise, and he got it.
Yeah.
And he achieved his goal.
His story really illustrates those benefits of taking action.
Yeah.
It sparks creativity. It builds confidence. And most importantly, it moves us closer to our goals.
Absolutely. And that brings us to another crucial element of thinking big, which is setting and achieving goals. Schwartz believes that goals are really the roadmap to personal growth and achievement.
So it's like that ship's captain charting a course.
Exactly.
Without a destination, the ship just drifts aimlessly.
Think about it. What is your 10-year vision?
Yeah.
If you could fast forward a decade, what would your ideal life look like?
Right. Once you have that picture in your mind, you can start setting those specific goals and breaking them down into those manageable steps.
He tells that story about FB, this young man who was struggling to define his career path.
Yeah, he wanted a good job, a nice home, but had no real plan to get there.
And Schwartz helped him gain some clarity by asking him to describe his ideal life in 10 years.
Oh, interesting.
So by visualizing that desired outcome, FB was able to start setting goals and taking concrete steps towards his vision.
It's amazing how visualization can bring clarity and focus.
It is.
Yeah.
And Schwartz emphasizes that goals should be smart, specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound.
No vague aspirations.
What's one area of your life where you could set a SMART goal right now?
That's a great question.
I love how he also talks about setting goals for all areas of life.
Yeah.
You know, and not just work, but also home life and personal development.
It's about creating that well-rounded, fulfilling life.
Not just chasing professional success.
Exactly. And he shares the story of that young man who bought that 17-acre country estate simply by setting a clear goal, visualizing it, and taking consistent action.
I mean, he didn't just wish for it. He made it happen.
He did.
What really stood out to me is how he talks about the energy that comes with setting goals.
It's like that fire that's lit within us, propelling us forward.
Think about the Manhattan Project during World War II. By setting this clear, ambitious goal, those scientists accomplished in a few years. What might have taken decades.
That's a testament to the power of focused intention and collective effort.
He also talks about Mrs. D, who was diagnosed with cancer shortly after her husband passed away.
Oh, wow.
And despite the grim prognosis, she set a goal to see her son graduate college, and she lived for 18 years after her diagnosis.
That's incredible.
It's amazing how much our mindset can really impact our reality.
It really is.
But how do we set goals that are truly motivating?
That's the key.
And inspiring.
We need to be passionate about them in order to persevere through challenges.
So how do we set and achieve these powerful goals?
Well, Schwartz has some excellent advice. First, write them down and review them regularly.
So out of sight, out of mind.
Exactly. Writing them down makes them real. And helps us stay committed.
Then break those large goals down into smaller steps. So you create momentum and a sense of progress.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to ask for help. Find mentors, advisors, support groups, people who can guide you and hold you accountable.
And most importantly, do something every single day that moves you closer to your goals.
Even those small actions taken consistently create incredible results over time.
And celebrate your wins.
Yes. Celebrate those small wins.
It keeps you motivated. And it reinforces your belief in yourself.
Exactly. And remember, detours are inevitable. So if you hit a roadblock, don't give up. Adjust your course, find a new path, and keep moving forward.
It's like that saying, it's not about how many times you fall down. It's about how many times you get back up.
I love that.
Schwartz also talks about the importance of investing in ourselves. He's a huge advocate for education. But not just formal education. He's talking about actively seeking knowledge and skills that can help us grow.
So reading books, attending workshops, learning from mentors.
Constantly expanding our horizons. What are some idea starters that you found helpful in your own life?
Well, for me, it's about exposing myself to different perspectives, whether it's reading books outside my usual genres, attending conferences, or even just having conversations with people who have different backgrounds and experiences.
It's like adding fuel to the fire of our curiosity and creativity.
Exactly. Now, all of these principles that we've been discussing, belief, action goals, resilience, they all play a crucial role in developing a leadership mindset.
Right. And Schwartz dedicates a whole chapter to how to think like a leader.
He does.
And it is packed with insights.
It is.
He argues that leadership isn't about wielding power or barking orders.
Right.
It's about inspiring others to achieve a shared vision.
Exactly. So what are some of his key principles for thinking like a leader?
Well, one of the most important is to trade minds with the people you want to influence.
Okay.
Put yourself in their shoes, understand their perspectives, consider their needs and motivations.
He shares an example of a television copywriter who created a commercial for a children's shoe company. And the copywriter came up with this clever, sophisticated concept that he thought would really appeal to parents. But the commercial was a total flop because it didn't connect with the target audience.
Makes sense.
So if the copywriter had taken the time to understand what kids actually cared about, you know, fun, excitement, things that resonate with their world, he could have created a much more effective commercial.
Right. So it's a great reminder that leadership requires empathy and understanding.
It really does.
Absolutely. What's the second principle for thinking like a leader?
Well, the second principle is to ask yourself, what is the human way to handle this?
Okay, so it's about considering the emotional impact
of our decisions.
Exactly. It's about treating people with respect, compassion, and understanding.
Even when making those tough decisions or dealing with challenging situations.
Right. And Schwartz contrasts two different approaches to leadership. He calls them the machine approach and the human approach.
So the machine approach.
Yeah, that's where you treat people like cogs in a wheel. And the human approach is where you value individuals and their needs.
And he says the machine approach might be efficient in the short term. But it ultimately leads to burnout, resentment, and a lack of loyalty.
Right. Whereas the human approach fosters trust, collaboration, and that sense of shared purpose.
He gives that great example of this executive, John S., who mastered this human approach.
He did.
He went above and beyond to support his employees, both professionally and personally. He helped them find housing. He celebrated their birthdays.
He even helped someone find a new job when they were being let go.
That's incredible.
As a result, he earned the respect, the loyalty, and the admiration of his team.
Yeah, they knew he had their back.
Right.
And they were willing to go the extra mile for him.
It's amazing how powerful those small acts of kindness can be.
They really are.
Especially in a work environment.
Yeah, for sure.
So what's the third principle for thinking like a leader?
The third principle is to think progress, believe in progress, push for progress.
So it's about embracing a growth mindset.
Yes. And always striving for improvement.
Leaders aren't content with the status quo.
Right. They're always pushing those boundaries.
Yeah.
Looking for ways to innovate and create a brighter future. They challenge their teams to think bigger. Set ambitious goals and embrace those new ideas.
Schwartz talks about this company that was falling behind its competitors. And they bring in this new CEO who instills this commitment to progress. And it completely transforms the company.
Well,
they go from lagging behind to leading the industry.
It's incredible what can happen when you inspire a team to embrace that progress.
Okay, so we've got trade minds, we've got the human way, we've got think progress. What's the final principle for thinking like a leader?
Okay, well, the fourth principle is take time out to confer with yourself and develop your supreme thinking power.
So making time for reflection and strategic planning.
Exactly. It's about stepping back from the day-to-day chaos and thinking deeply about that big picture.
Setting priorities.
Right.
Developing that clear vision.
Yeah, it's crucial for effective leadership.
He emphasizes spending time alone with our thoughts. Away from distractions.
Right. It's in those moments of solitude that we can tap into our inner wisdom and really develop our leadership potential.
He gives that example of the group of executives and the most successful ones. All said that they dedicated a significant amount of time to being alone. thinking, reflecting, planning.
Yeah, they understood that to lead effectively, you need that clarity.
Yeah.
That focus and that deep understanding of yourself and the world around you.
So to wrap up the section on leadership,
okay.
trade minds, think the human way.
Think progress.
Think progress and take time for reflection.
Yes. It's a powerful combination.
It is, and it speaks to that broader message of the magic of thinking big, that our mindset shapes our reality.
Absolutely.
This has been an incredible deep dive into the magic of thinking big.
Yes.
We've covered so much ground.
We have.
From the power of belief and the importance of conquering fear,
right,
to setting goals, cultivating a success mindset, and even thinking like a leader.
It's a book that really offers something for everyone.
It does, no matter where they are in their journey.
Exactly.
What are some key takeaways that our listeners can apply to their lives right now?
Well, first and foremost, believe in yourself.
Okay.
Don't let self-doubt or limiting beliefs hold you back.
Yeah.
You are capable of achieving amazing things.
I love that. It all starts with belief. What else?
Cultivate a positive mindset.
Okay.
And surround yourself with people who support your growth.
Surround yourself with good people.
Yes. And choose your environment wisely.
Yeah.
It has a huge impact on your thinking and your well-being.
Absolutely. And don't forget to set those SMART goals.
Yes. Goals give us direction and
yeah.
fuel our motivation.
They do. And remember to break down those big goals into smaller steps.
And celebrate your successes along the way.
Celebrate those wins.
Yes.
And if you hit a setback, don't despair.
Right.
See it as an opportunity to learn, to adjust your course.
Yeah.
And keep moving forward.
Remember, defeat is a state of mind.
Thinking big also means thinking like a leader.
Yes.
So put yourself in other people's shoes, treat them with respect and compassion, and always strive for progress.
Exactly. And finally, make time for reflection.
Okay.
Those quiet moments of introspection are where we connect with our inner wisdom and develop our full potential.
This has been a wonderful journey.
It has.
Through the magic of thinking big.
Yeah.
I hope our listeners have found it valuable and insightful.
Me too.
I think the most important takeaway is that the magic of thinking big is available to all of us.
It is.
It's not about being superhuman or anything.
Right.
It's about making a conscious choice to cultivate that mindset that empowers us to achieve our dreams.
Absolutely.
So what's one small step you can take today to start applying the magic of thinking big in your life?
Think about it.
Think about it.
Choose one thing and take action.
That's it for this deep dive.
It is.
Thank you for joining us.
Until next time, keep thinking big.